Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who talk about. Okay, that I am Chris was like so chipper that I just threw me off.
You know why I did
Uh,
it too, because you know why I did it.
okay. We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which is certainly chipper for some of us,
Yeah,
and certainly not more Dale for the other.
for the other.
Chip, yeah, you're Dale.
Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hi. So today we're talking Dancing for the Devil.
Oh, wait, what's it called?
Dancing for the Devil.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, 7M TikTok Club. The 7M TikTok Club. Cult.
Cult.
Cult. Cult.
Mhm.
Episode 3. You reap what you sow. Yeah, you should. And we really hope. Sometimes when I really hope Robert reaps what he sows. But sometimes when like cult leaders and or people in power who are doing wrong,
Mhm.
when they just get up and lie and are so false and fake and phony in front of everybody, I'm like, are you just someone who knows you're doing wrong and like just is like, oh, this unspoken morality that we all have not to lie and cheat each other and like do our best is not real, and I'm just a player in a video game and I'm just going to do whatever I want to do, suckers? Or does the cult leader just really think that they are right even though they are wrong? Like, do they just like explain it away in some interesting manner? Like, what is it? And same thing with Robert. Like, I wonder which it is.
I totally know what you're saying. I lean so hard into thinking, and maybe this is just an easy way for my like human brain to make an answer to the question, which is like a problem-solving situation that brains love to do, is that they're all narcissists. Like I feel like they live in the grandiose ideas that somehow certain people get about themselves, that they are better than others, they are different than others, they're chosen, they're the god, they're the prophet, they're the, and if you start to believe that, and then people start to treat you that way, that you are so, holy, then there must be like this mental disease that feeds into itself and just grows. Kind of the way Grey Gardens does, like daughter and mom living together and just
Mm,
like getting each other more and more
mhm.
riled up over nothing, and then just living in a decay of mental, like, then it's like that's what's happening, except they're bringing down a bunch of other like sad lonely people. I think that it's mental disease. I think that's what it is, but unfortunately it plays upon other people's human needs to connect and such. But yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I do have a follow-up about this at the end.
Okay.
Miranda Derrick speaks out. So I'm gonna have a
Oh.
Miranda Derrick update, honey. She comes with the
Ooh.
goods. She comes with receipts and goods. She's a little marketer. So yeah, let's get into this episode. Obviously, we had first started off with the two dancing sisters that like were best friends, and they just like don't have that anymore. Miranda and
Mhm.
her sister, and then Miranda and Melanie, like Miranda and Melanie, we start off with Miranda's the one that gets sucked into this cult. Her sister and her family start, of course, putting out TikTok streams being like she's in a cult and she won't talk to us. And then Robert's like, no, no, this is bad press, even though at first every press is good press. Now you have to change because we're losing dancing gigs. Tell them that you'll see them, just don't ever be close to them, and then just like be superficial. So then but having watched this drama up, two other sisters that had a history with the Shekinah church, which is ended up
Mhm.
being one in hand with the 7M TikTok dance talent management company.
Mhm. Mhm.
um they start to get triggered because they had experienced a whole host of abuse 10 years ago, and how they also were two very close sisters. They were Korean immigrants, and they had to raise each other, that without the love and without the like family unit of the first sisters. These ones were sisters who like were much in need and were feeling very alone. And so the church in its infancy was very Korean based and therefore gave a sense of home to these sisters who didn't have much except a drunk gambling mom. However, of course, Robert's a nightmare, as we've been saying, and he tears not only these two sisters apart because of the cult, but like sexually abuses both of them horribly.
It is it is very, like, to me, the poster and the hook to get you into the TikTok portion of it just really maligns and belittles
Yes.
the people. And I'm not saying that the dancers aren't suffering or aren't, like, you know, victims as well. However, people like Melanie Lee and Priscilla Lee. So let me apologize. First of all, I kept saying her name was Phyllis. Like, I could not remember what her name was last episode. But the horrors that the regular congregation is put through is just way more. So we start off this episode with talking with Melanie, Korean Melanie Lee, driving in LA, and we hear Priscilla on a walkie. And so they're plotting some kind of deed. And to me, I'm like, oh my God, it's on TV. Like, we shouldn't be watching whatever it is that they're doing. But what it is that Melanie or Priscilla has decided to sue Robert. And since it's not illegal to run a cult or be in a cult,
Hmm.
you have to try to get them on whatever crimes they're committing that's actually illegal, like sexual assault or financial misconduct, things like that. And so the sisters have, along with the Wilkins family, have decided to kind of embrace hands, lock fingers, and go at it together against Robert. So we have a scene where Melanie Lee is trying to help the dancers go through their financials to look at bank statements and canceled checks, because that would be the financial portion of it. And so, they would give examples like, if he gave you 100K, but he would take the money out and saying that you're gifting portions of it to Shekinah. And so she wanted to go over, okay, so your rent was Robert and the church, your tithings, Robert and the church, your 20% is 7M Management Company, and then you have the 10 10 10 again. And so it ended up looking like they had been giving about 60 to 70% of their income over to back to Shekinah Church before taxes. And I'm like, wow, they really were getting some super big deals, like 100K for whatever TikTok brand deals they were getting. And then they still have to pay taxes on it, like out of that 100K. But before they're even setting money aside for taxes, Robert is taking like 50% for other things, and or 60 to 70% for back to Shekinah, and they're still having to live off of that 100K, live off the rest, and then pay the taxes on the rest. So it's just like this crazy racket. And so we get the conversation, not actual conversation, but we get to find out that Priscilla has actually sat down with some of the key players, Aubrey, Kylie, and Concrete, and she sits down and she tells them what all the regular members of Shekinah, specifically what she had gone through for the last 20 something years. And the
Mm.
dancers felt like, oh no, not only did you get me wrapped up in your bullshit, but your bullshit is this nefarious. Like, how dare you? Like,
Hmm.
how fucking dare you bring me along on something so disgusting? Um, and so then Robert gets information that they're going to sue him. Somehow you know, there's a leak. And all of a sudden he countersues before she can even sue. Priscilla sues for conspiracy to defame. Now, I didn't know that you could civilly sue somebody for just talking about possibly thinking of defaming you. But
I know.
that is what he is suing her for. And I'm like, for money? You want money from Priscilla? What money does Priscilla have?
It's interesting. I think it's another telltale sign of a narcissist because it's like, "Oh, I'm going to get at them before they get at me." And the truth of the matter is, once all this comes out and they're laid bare all of the paperwork, I mean, he has to be incredibly confident to not think that
Incredibly.
it's all gonna blow up in his face, for
Mhm,
him to
mhm.
be aggressive and or offensive at all in the legal realm, you know? So, that part, it was just like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" But okay, so, the oh, I wish I could get these things to stay in my ear. So, basically, you have to serve someone, we know this, but basically, when you sue someone, the process of serving means that they have to be told that someone is suing them, and the way that they are told is that someone comes and delivers the case in a file and you just have to say their name in their presence, have them look at it, and then you drop the thing and they've been served. You've been served. Okay? So now we have a bunch of these women just like running around trying to serve Robert in the best way possible and not have it be messy or not him have him try to evade it, or whatever, because as we know in pop culture lore, we know that certain celebrities have tried to evade being served either when they're like on the road or in a concert or at award ceremonies or like talking, and when it happens it's obviously very embarrassing. So what we get um is a great scene, probably the best scene in this episode,
Yeah, I
and I
think
wish it was
so.
longer, which
I
is
think so.
when they find Robert and like his two sons or whatever, like in the corner table of like a mom and pop Korean restaurant. I don't know if it's in the valley or where it is, but it is just, it's the kind of place that probably like only locals go to and people that know their shit. And they have this like circle back table and all men are there only. And these women come in, say his name, serve him, and those guys pompously act as if it's the dinner menu. As if that woman is like the server, like, welcome to Korean family restaurant. Here's your meal. Here's your meal. They're just like, thanks. Nothing. Don't say anything now. However, we also know there's all the camera crew, right? Because we're watching the scene happen. So we know that it's being filmed. And so Robert's seeing not only him being served, but also sees that he's on film, you know?
Yeah, I got a different feeling from
Whew.
his from that. I got a different take. Like they
Mm.
had first of all, they had a surreptitious camera of somebody sitting at a booth. One, two, that restaurant was probably Shekinah owned. Three, them sitting in the corner. Yeah, then
Oh,
and like I felt like they looked shocked. Like, okay.
really?
I don't know that it felt like they looked shocked because the way that these like three white people walk into this space, they're like, Robert Shin, you've been served. It was very like they were so excited to do it. It felt like a little bit like a movie. Now, here's the truth. If I were to be served, somebody would have to, if somebody were to be like Wahamalino, I would not react. Like, I know I'm in trouble. Like, you don't just come up to me, a stranger off the street, just say my full name, my full government. No, no. I don't ever go around like, yeah, my name is Wahamalino. Like, no, it's usually like, hey, my name is Wa, or like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. So if somebody were to ever
Wait,
say
so
that out,
you would just ignore them?
oh no. No.
But wouldn't you be shocked someone knows you and says your name? Like you wouldn't. I mean, like if someone had said my name, like Christine Farah, I'd be like, well, it's like I'm a Pavlov dog. You say my name, I'm like gonna look at you. Like I realize that someone is calling only me out. Like how do you not have the instant reaction to be like, you know?
Yeah, let me finish my like joke story, and
Oh.
I'll get to the point. So, yeah, if somebody were to just be like Wahamalino, I would be like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like, no one just calls me that. If some and I don't know if I would look because that would alert me that someone's saying my full government. I think I would be slow to react. Like, who is it? Is this the police? Is this the FBI? Like that's what I would think first. And I'm like, I need to deny or run, right? And then if they were to but the way that somebody would get me is if they would go, "What?" I'd be like, "Hi." Like that would be because I would think that was like somebody who watching my YouTube or somebody. So like the people who would serve me would have to say my name in a way that would make me go friendly or just say like Wahima. Oh my God, Wahima. And I'd be like, oh, hello. So that's what I'm asking. Do you have to say the full and last? Do you have to say Robert Shin? You know, how do you know? How do you know? So Anywho, that happens, and the party feels really good about it afterwards, and they are like, we want to do it again, we cannot wait. And we find out that somebody else has tried to sue Robert before and they did not win. And so, right, it's just really hard to nail down, and it's really hard to get him to, in trouble for anything. I think it's just because it's such a small church and not everybody's going to come forward. Now, um, Melanie Wilkins, the blonde, I mean the dancing sister, she's like, we need to put Robert in prison in order for Miranda to leave. At this point, I think Miranda's at this point in her life where, I don't know, but you'll see at the end when you tell us, that she's like, I have to dig in my heels because I've already done too much bad and I can't go crawling back to my parents and have them be right. That this whole thing was a lie. And because James is probably super into it too. Who knows what the relationship between James and his family is? But if James is able to cut his family off, I think Miranda's gonna, she loves him so much, she would probably be there for him if he's the last holdout. Now, the family then goes to the police, and they are told that they need another victim to come through. Like, they can't just do anything for him. And the way the documentary makes it seem is like, the police, or the system is failing us. Like, we're going for help and the system is failing us, which is like, yes, the system fails a lot of people. But also, I think that maybe they're like, well, for a prosecutor, for a DA to take this case and to really give it the due diligence and justice it requires, we have to stack all of the evidence against Robert. And just from like a Law and Order point of view, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I lied. Um, the best scene of the documentary actually is the next scene. It's not the
Ugh.
stupid scene where she gets this. The next scene is, so the two sisters we care the most about are Melanie and Priscilla, right? Because we
Mhm.
know their story and like they've gone
Mhm.
through it, and they're the ones that like we can we have heard their really horrific tales of abuse, and so we feel a lot of empathy towards them. And when they're on screen, they just really emit a lot of genuineness. These two sisters have gone through like years of not talking, after years of being each other's everything, because of this man and the stupid cult church that they had given everything to, and then had ultimately betrayed and ripped them apart. But here we are now, knowing what we know, even though Priscilla is still dealing with the aftermath of like the fact that she feels guilty going against Robert, the fact that she still listens to his sermons, the fact that she has ingrained in her that he is the way, he is the light, that she will go to hell. And, her sister is like, Melanie is a little past that now. She's incredibly angry at Robert, but and has no desire to like doesn't is not sensitive to him in any kind of way. Just wants him to be done. But unfortunately, Melina and Priscilla have a huge disconnect in space between them, and so we get this beautiful scene where the sisters try and connect, and they're just like, Melanie is saying that Priscilla hasn't been around, that she is busy, and but Melanie wants to make up for lost time. So like, why are you not, like being able to give me what I want, which is like my sister back, and for you to be in my life, and for you to be the aunt to my daughter, and all of this. And they talk, they see, like my heart was broken. Like I didn't know what I was going to see you again. And both women obviously love each other. Melanie had to deal with the trauma by moving on, building her life, and, obviously wanting to make sure that she could have the strength to go back and save her sister with like some ability, kind of the way that you would like save yourself with the mask coming down on the plane, so they can go back and help others. So the sister, while Melanie is building her life, is paying every morsel to Robert. Um, and Priscilla is not in the space Melanie is. Priscilla is still reeling from this and needs space. She doesn't, I don't feels like she's a functional adult. She doesn't feel whole. She doesn't understand how she lost so much time. She's upset at herself, angry as fuck. She is devastated with the toll it's taken on her life and where she is now. And Melanie is not there, but Melanie keeps wanting things from her, like a connection, like to be at her daughter's birthday, to like show up and help set up and be super excited for her daughter's birthday. And it's like, I'm sure Priscilla loves her niece, but Priscilla has to express to her, like, how dare you? Look at me. Like, what do you expect of me? Why do you expect me to be able to give you so much? Have you not witnessed what has happened to me? I don't get why you think I am a bleeding wound, able to just give you everything you want, be there for your thing, not have any qualms. I mean, it's like, it is such a heartbreaking conversation because in Melanie's eyes, she's like, I just want my sister there. We should be close. And it's her niece. Why would she be there for her niece? And it's like, because she's not even there for herself. Because she's not there for herself. Like, what are you talking about? How, to me, I felt so bad. I was like, listen, both women have gone through it, but I'm like, I felt for Priscilla, someone who obviously is traumatized. And it's like, you cannot ask this woman to do anything for you right now. Don't ask her to do anything for you. If she's able to, she'll show up. And if she's there at your niece's birthday, God bless. And if she's helped you set up, sure. If she helps you set up and then leaves early, fine. If she's there late because she couldn't get up in the morning and get everything done because she's crying all night, then allow that and let her. But I thought it was a very poignant, truthful, communicative family conversation.
Yeah. And I felt for Melanie Lee in this too, because how is she to know all of that? And so it's like, oh, is she a therapist all of a sudden? Is she like a psychoanalyst to know that that's who her sister is and like whatever? Because she says for her, she's been waiting for her sister to come, and she has been preparing. She knew that she had to get her shit together so that eventually, when her sister came out of the cult, she would have a place for her sister to stay. And so for Melanie, she has been waiting for her sister to wake up and come out, and has stood there with open arms. And I think for Melanie, it feels like Priscilla has just ignored the open arms, and she doesn't understand why. And so I loved the fact that, and I see your point of it, but I saw it a little differently. I love the fact that Priscilla was even able to explain that at all. I was really proud of Priscilla,
Oh,
because
yeah.
if that were me, I wouldn't know. I don't know that it, at this point, I don't know how long she's been out of the cult. Do you know how long at this point Priscilla has been out? She was in it for
It's
23
confusing.
years. Okay. So, yeah, so at this point I don't know how long she's been out. But to be able to explain herself in that way shows a lot of at least self-reflection and growth, and I loved the conversation. And I think that Melanie was able to see her sister, for who she currently is, and not for who Melanie hoped she would be by the time she got out. And it's just so sad for poor Priscilla. But I loved that she explained that, and that it's obviously not an obvious thing for someone who to know that Priscilla still is not okay. When she said that I could either hurt myself or come to your baby shower, which do you want? Our baby, I don't understand, like, how people love their children. Like, she's had the most trauma, I think, poor Priscilla, because she was old enough to understand that her father completely abandoned them, that and left her mother, who was already a problem, um, take the kids, and then not only take them away, take them or leave them, but take them to an entirely different country.
Hmm.
Like, take them to an entirely different country, and then have the audacity to be a gambling drunk once you got there. And I imagine in a community where, I mean, listen, I don't know much about Korean culture, but the Korean people that I know are very like, oh, I can't do that with my, like, it's very proper. It's there's a structure to it. And so to not have that amongst a sea of people, and people who look like you who have that, to stop your sister from making friends because you're worried that they're about to get in drugs, and finally she finds a place, your sister finds a place, a church to call home, and you just get stuck in it, and you don't know how to get out, and you are mad at yourself afterwards for allowing this to happen, because you're not a crazy person, you're not an idiot. How did you let this happen to yourself?
Yeah.
um and so she even says that she felt bad after serving them, because she's like,
Yeah.
part of me feels bad, because it's like Stockholm syndrome. Like, part of me
Yes.
feels bad because I spent so much time trying to protect them, and in this moment I'm now not protecting them. And I was like, this shit is deep. This deeper than anything that we could ever even try to unpack at all. So
Mhm. Mhm.
Priscilla then goes to Korea to talk to her dad. That's
Her
one of the
real fucking
healing.
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes to Korea. Her dad is not even aware of the extent of everything. She's like, She says it in a very calm way, and I was like, "Oh." She's like, "You should be ashamed of yourself, and you should know that everything that befell me and my sister is your fault. You abandoned us, and I know mom wasn't the greatest, but you abandoned us." And he's like, "I do feel ashamed." And she's like, "Good, you should feel it until the end. Like, even after we have this conversation, you shouldn't walk away feeling good that you spoke to me today. You should still walk away ashamed for the rest of your life." And I was like, "Girl, you better tell him." And then she's like, "You guys abandoned us. And if you hadn't have done this, this would not have happened to us. You are the both to do it." And like, I'm not a crazy person. And he's like, "You were only there for 5 years." And she's like, "No, 23." He's like, "23." She's like, 23 years. And he then tries to touch her, and she's like, "Manji ma, manji ma." And I wrote that down because I was like, damn, that is such a clear, like, don't touch me, when he tried to
Mhm.
touch her. And I was like, whew, whew. So she got that done, and that was really good for her. And then the next thing we see is that she is back in the States, and she goes to the police department, and she files a report, and they're like, she's like, "Yeah, I want to add on to the other people." And they're like, "Well, what are you saying he did?" Or like, the way they said it was so callous. Like, can you take her and pull her behind, like, in an office first, and then ask, like, "Hey, so what's the crime committed?" She's like, I think it's called continuous rape." Like, through just like plexiglass window, she has to, like, basically say this to somebody. And she's like, "Yeah, years and beatings, because Hannah used to beat the shit out of her." So, like, yeah. And then she's like, "I," and to know that she still believes in God after this is crazy. She says, "I know God will bring justice. That's what I want. I want justice to be brought." And
Yeah.
another really heartbreaking part is that she tells us that she could have had 4 kids by now, which leads me to believe that he made her get abortions, or she lost 4 kids, that she could have been a parent and that she wasn't, and she really wanted to like carry and have babies, but she's just can't. She wasted all these years. And I'm just like, dang, this was warfare on her person.
Yeah, which goes back to how you open this, episode to be true. Like, who the fuck cares about TikTok?
Yep. Yep.
But the dancers, after this, Kylie is now a dance teacher. She enjoys sharing the love of dance to other kids, and that's the way that she deals with this. And she's not trying to be like professional anymore. Kevin started dancing again, and is
He went
Kevin
on
the one
tour with
on tour?
Beyonce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like a recent tour, and listen, that's pretty big, fucking big. Don't get
Mhm,
bigger than Beyonce. I guess
mhm.
Taylor Swift, but she just, I don't know. And Aubrey is a dance teacher, so that they still dancing. Robert has not been arrested yet, and then it begs the question: do we even take sexual assault seriously? And definitely, this docuseries would hamper no. It takes so many women to even get someone to pay attention to that one man could possibly be doing something wrong. It's
Mhm,
disgusting.
mhm.
So then we go back to the White sisters, the Wilkings, and what's happening with them is that, Miranda
They're
and
fine. They're fine. That's what's happening
yeah,
with them.
yeah, what it's like. They always like, well, it's not really fine. We have Christmases now where we all together, we all wear the exact same pajamas, but it's really only just to be on Instagram. Like, it's this part was fucking bananas because I'll be honest, like this family still very much has the wanton need to portray themselves as idealistic Instagram vlogging family that like wears matching Christmas pajamas and has a beautiful manicured idealistic kind of basic upper end luxe home with all the same that we stuff that we always see. But it's like they want that vibe, they have that aesthetic, but we're supposed to also care about like the intense cult like thing that's happening to her daughter. I'm not saying that I don't care about it, but it just definitely not as much as the other sisters. So they're like, yeah,
It pales in
she's
comparison.
yeah, it's all very superficial. And they spend like maybe like one Christmas and that's really it. And the other sister's like, but I'm getting married. I don't even know if I'm gonna want her have her there. And I feel like I should have her there and have her be a bridesmaid because at some point, what if we get back together and I feel bad, but it's just awkward. She's like mean to me and she doesn't really care. She doesn't even know that guy, like it's weird. So everyone else Melanie and Priscilla are obviously learning to be sisters again, and we could have a whole other docu-series just talking about family dynamics and how they change and evolve as people change and evolve. And I wish for them an intense amount of like love, happiness, security, safety, and growth, and probably a lot of therapy.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so they as of, I guess, from this documentary, it looks like as of last Christmas 2023, Miranda did go there. They took pictures. They were happy family for Instagram and for Robert. And then we get a little bit of like extra at the end, and we get like a scene of white Melanie, just like she's been through it, but she's got a little dance scene where she's like dancing in the rain. So that's good
Oh,
for her.
yeah.
That's good for her.
Everyone's going to have a little dance break right now
Yeah.
as they like let the trauma move through their bodies. Some parts of this docu-series, I'm like, no. In some parts, I'm like, great. But like when the dancing happens again, which by the way, never happened the entire time. So even if you were like, if you had made the dancing a part of it, but then they all just kind of like do a free dance at the end, I was weirded out by it. You?
Yeah, it just they want us to tie it back again to TikTok. It's like we at this point what they yeah, I couldn't. I couldn't. So Miranda, B Dash, and Nick are still in the cult. They still have limited contact with their family. They only dance with people who are affiliated with Robert and possibly 7M. One of them Nick asks his parents to stop sending photos, because the mom keeps sending him photos of him and his brother when they were little.
Yeah,
And
the
he's yeah,
spaghetti
the
one.
mother has actually even gone as far as they've both retired so that they can work full time on getting their son back. They're better than me. I wouldn't.
You
I
would just
feel
let your
like
son. What?
yeah. Like how long am I supposed to try to get you out of the cold? At some point, you're an adult. I'm an adult. And like, how long am I supposed to? Because the truth is, I feel like White Melanie, is a little bit closer to how I would feel. Of like, you've already done a lot of damage to our family. Like, you've already put our parents, and everybody through the ringer trying to get you back. Not even thinking, not even willing to have a cathartic conversation where you're at least like, truthfully, this is my path now. Don't try to contact me. Like, I'm good. Leave me alone. Let me do this. Like, I don't want to cause any more drama in the family. Like, Melanie feels like her whole life has been disrupted by Miranda's selfishness. Like, that's what she feels. And she hasn't said that. She's like, I know she's brainwashed, but someone had to tell Melanie that. Someone had to be like, Melanie, she's brainwashed. Because Melanie was like, no, I was there. And I said no. So I don't understand. I went too. I went to Shekinah Church as well. And when they told me crazy shit, I was like, oh, that's just crazy. So I don't understand what the fuck Miranda's problem is. Like, I feel like that's how I would be. Because I'm like, you can't tell me I don't understand. I do. I was there. And I don't want somebody fucking controlling me. So can we just be done with her? Can we focus on my wedding and my life? Like, she don't want to be here. She don't want to be here. So let her go.
You're right. I get what you're saying. It's very, to me, you're like, this is like siblings, very sibling specific. Because
Yeah.
yes, if it was my sibling, especially an only child, I'd be like, I didn't need you anyway. Never needed you. But but if it was my child, I would scorch the earth. I think that I have a possessive quality already. Like once that you are mine, and there's only a couple people in this world that I can consider are mine. You know what I'm saying? Which right now really only is like my dad, but if I was ever to have a child, or if I was ever to be in a long term relationship, those people are now mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Mine.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so the child that I push forth out of my body is mine forever. And if some man, Robert, got a hold of my child, my adult child who I still pushed out of this world, and try to pretend that that person owns my child over me, then I will kill that person because that's my child, my property,
Yeah.
my child.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I'm not. I just don't. I don't know how I'd be as a parent, but what I guess I'm just like, it's the same thing I think about when folks become addicts, especially if you've got like more than one kid. At some point, okay, you made choices. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to come to us when you're clean. And I guess I can say that as just I don't know what it is to be a parent, so maybe I'm completely wrong, but I get you. I get what you're saying.
Want
Um,
me to tell you what Miranda said?
yeah,
Okay, so Miranda, so obviously this documentary comes out, and we're talking about it because guess what? It came out on television. That's how you could watch it right now if you wanted to. You could be watching it. It's on Netflix. Um, On Tuesday, June 4th, Miranda Derrick denied the allegations made by her family and others who called Robert Shin's 7M Films talent management company called. Hey guys. Sorry, it's
I
just I
guess.
just hey guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I just wanted to hop on here real quick. And first of all, just okay. Hey guys, I wanted to hop on here real quick. Is already should be taken out of like the verbiage that we use as humans. It's disgusting. But here we are. Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and first of all, say thank you so much to everyone who's been so supportive during this time. I can't go too much into detail because of legal purposes, but I want to start by saying that I appreciate the concern that has been expressed for my well being due to pending litigation in which I am a plaintiff in a defamation lawsuit. It's not appropriate for me to comment on specific allegations, though I will state that I do not condone abuse in any way, she penned in the post. While Derek acknowledged that she loves her mom, dad, and sister Melanie, not really, just kidding, and that she will forever be a part of her lives, she revealed that they don't see eye to eye at this time. She said that Dancing for the Devil was a one-sided story, adding, I gave my life to Jesus Christ in 2020 and asked my family for some space in the very beginning to collect my thoughts and process for my new walk I wanted to take with God. In her statement, Derek said that she started her own social media account because her sister logged me out of our account, and when I asked for access back, she denied my request. She also addressed missing her grandfather's funeral, a moment highlighted in the docuseries, which implied that 7M was not allowing her to attend. Before we went into the hospital to say our last goodbyes, I started to pray for our papa in the car, and Melanie got offended, angry with me, and told me to stop and to never pray around her, Derek added. She said that she chose not to go to the funeral because she was being harassed and felt threatened by her family. I am just a woman trying to live my life. I am not a victim. I am not in any harm. I am not being abused. I've never asked my family or anyone else to help me in any way, respectively. What I choose to do with my life is up to me, the influencer explained. Okay. Oh,
Completely.
she's almost done. I am not held against my will, and I've never been a hostage. So, in a previous public statement, I go to church and I have faith in God. If one day I wish to pursue my faith elsewhere, I will and feel completely free to do that. As far as my career, my time at 7M Films has been one of the most exciting years ever. And if one day I wish to partner with a different management company or start my own company, I will.
Start her own crump company?
It just says company, but I
Oh,
hope it would be a
okay.
crumb company.
I thought she said.
Yeah. That's it,
Okay,
babe.
that's crazy.
You know?
Yeah, and she completely is just like, I don't condone abuse. Okay, like, okay, that's all you have to say about Melanie and Priscilla? Cool. Cool. I'm glad that you don't condone abuse. That's good to know. And I'm
You're just
glad that
paying the man to do it.
yeah, that like at this point, here's the truth. I don't care how down I am with any church. At this point, publicly, I'm looking stupid. So I'm sorry, Robert. I love you, and I can come to Shekinah Church on the low, but I'm gonna have to go home because you are now like someone just went on camera and said that you've been raping them for 23 years, and I can't get with that. I don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like to me, certain things trump your religion, and but that's where I
Yes.
am. That's where I am in this world, and I feel like even as a former Christian, you couldn't tell me that my pastor was raping somebody for 20 years and have me on board. Like all they said was don't vote for Prop 22, and not all, but what they didn't even say is someone's being sexually harassed. They just wanted to vote not for gay marriage, and I got up and left church. So I have a very like you got to act right or I'm out. So anyways, that's the end of the episode, the show. I checked out Miranda's TikTok. She no longer has a little star or a little like check mark next to her thing, and I'm like, or she never did. I don't know. But as of like when this thing came out, she had put stuff up, but hasn't put anything up for June. B Dash has still been putting stuff up, but it's all just like it's all a part of TikTok that I don't give one darn about. Like I don't want to see. I don't want to see them dancing at all. So, that's the end of the episode. Do you have anything else to say?
No. Thank you guys so much. If you want to follow us on social medias, you absolutely can. We are at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties on X. We have a podcast Facebook group on Facebook, the Ducky Sweeties podcast Facebook group. I can't stand that that's the title of that. We have to think. I can't. I have too many words to come out of my mouth for that whole situation. I gotta think of it better. Anyway, but we also are on YouTube, so please like and subscribe. All of our things. Give us 5 stars.
And if you want to do a little
Yeah.
extra, you can join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You get a live every first Monday of the month, plus other goodies. So if you're interested in that, please join us there. Patreon.com/DocuSweeties. All right, you guys, you have a fantastic one. All right. Bye.
Bye.